Do you want me to look at the camera? Or do you want me to look at
We look at each other, but I'm just adjusting this. Anyway. Yeah, starting again. Hey everyone, what is up? I'm Salman and welcome to Salman Needs a Job. Today I'm here at Solana Hacker House, day 2 of Solana Hacker House in Bangalore. And this venue right here is the NFT gallery. Behind me are NFTs on Solana. Very interesting spot, but we are going to be right now discussing about DAOs with Heramb. So Heramb is part of DAOHQ.co. It is a DAO marketplace. So I was having a chat with him earlier and I found that it was very interesting how he got involved in everything. You have a good understanding about DAOs in general. I thought we'll have a conversation about this. So first, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having this. Thank you for having me on the show.
Tell me about where you come from and what are you doing right now?
So I basically was born and brought up in Mumbai. I basically right now I'm a sophomore studying chemistry at IIT Roorkee. I'm right now doing operations and research at DAO HQ, which is an American startup. So we are trying to build a marketplace for DAOs, like you mentioned. So okay. Yeah.
So sophomore as in which year in college are you in?
So I just finished my second year.
So this seems to be a trend actually from all the conversations I'm having over here, which is a lot of people in college who's like in second year college and all are doing full-time job. So what you're doing, the work you're doing is also full-time, is it?
So basically while the semester is on, so it's actually pretty much a funny story. So because there was COVID up till like about March, things were online in colleges, right? So a lot of my friends also did a lot of full-time jobs or like full-time internships, multiple projects. Because colleges were online, things were easy to get managed. Once like things are moving offline, we'll see. I think there's a lot of hustle culture which is brought up in college because of what happened with the pandemic. As for me, I think so since DAO HQ started in like February, I have been contributing as a co-contributor like in operations and research. And over the summer, which is like May through July, I'll be working pretty much full time here.
To begin with, is DAO HQ a DAO?
So I think it's too early for us to call it a DAO. We are definitely looking to transition into being a DAO. Okay. So since things have just started, like I said, just 3 months back, and things about governance and about expectations are still like being set out. We are right now like a startup, but we do have a contributor DAO attached, so people can come into that contributor DAO, and there'll be bounties set up by the co-contribution team, and those bounties can be like fulfilled by those people who come into the contributor DAO, and if like you manage to contribute enough to in that contributor DAO, you'll be basically onboarded into the core contribution.
Tell me about what DAO HQ does. Yeah.
So basically, I'll try to explain the need for something like DAO HQ to come up. Right now, the DAO ecosystem is very much happening. Like DAOs are basically the next thing which is happening in Web3 space after NFTs and like different kinds of protocols and cryptocurrencies. So what people are realizing is that you need governance mechanisms for Web3 ecosystems. There is a lot of decentralized nature in like Web3 projects because that's just how where Web3 is at. That's kind of like the need of DAOs, like to laser focus those kinds of efforts to make sure that something productive is coming out of any sort of initiative. The only problem with this is the DAO ecosystem itself is also fragmented. As in, if today I, as someone who is interested in the governance mechanisms of Web3 space, want to get into DAOs, it's very hard to find out about DAOs. I either talk to friends and get that information by word of mouth, or I find that to be on a random Twitter thread or a LinkedIn post. So as an investor or a contributor or someone who is interested in like governance mechanisms or many of the various things which DAOs do, it's really, really hard to find one place where you can go and you can get reliable information. So that's where DAO HQ is coming in. So you can come to our platform, you can invest in tokens, you can track them. You don't have to go to like run through different places. As like a contributor or like a person who's interested in certain types of initiatives, you can search up DAOs related to, let's say, DAOs focused on climate change, or DAOs focused on bridging the creator economy gap. So those kinds of things is where DAO HQ such a fits in.
So for discoverability and also actually you can buy token within DAO HQ.
Yes.
Okay. What else does it do? It provides good information about each DAOs. Okay, so it is catered towards people that are interested in DAO to find out about what DAOs are out there and also get involved through actually investing in the token. Is it?
Yes, that's right. Also, we are I think a big trend in the cryptocurrency or the Web3 space is that whenever new projects come up or something new like DAO or NFT comes up, a lot of initiatives like DAO HQ have to also impart knowledge back to the community so that people can actually feel comfortable getting into this ecosystem. So what we're also trying to do is like share best practices among DAOs, share DAO tools for up and coming DAOs. So really like fostering the DAO ecosystem as a whole, because we really believe that this is something which can help the Web3 community as a whole.
Where does this sharing of best practices happen?
So we want to promote inter-DAO communication as well. Also, we as a DAO, we have contributors running to different DAOs within the verification process. And if we like see any sort of faults, those DAOs are like free to come to us for any help. We can maybe patch them in, since we are talking to so many DAOs pretty much on a daily basis. And yeah, that's basically how it works.
Okay, so that happens inside Discord, I believe?
Yes, so we have a Discord server. Yeah.
So tell me about like your role in operations and research, right? What is that? Like what do you do? How do you contribute on this function? How does this work?
So in terms of research, I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to verify DAOs. We're trying to run to various Discord servers, talk to core contributors there, make sure we have an accurate picture of their mission, their vision, and then having that in a concise format, easy to understand for investors so that nobody gets scared off by lengthy white papers, have a good description on our DAO HQ website. So that's like for the research side of things. For operations, I guess I wear a lot of...
Sure. Like on the research front, can you give an example of one of the DAOs that you have listed out here, and what is the process like for you to actually put that in here?
So I think one DAO I can mention is like Heramb. So what we would do is like someone would come up to us and tell us, okay, Heramb is a DAO we have not yet listed on DAO HQ. Then we would like try to Google it or like try to find it out via Twitter or through some other connections we have. Go to their Discord server, introduce ourselves, tell them about the mission and vision of DAO HQ and how it can like benefit Heramb or other DAOs to be a part of this ecosystem. And then we try to go to one of the core contributors. We try to get an accurate idea of what their tokenomics is, what their governance mechanisms are, what their expectations are. So yeah.
This is an interesting This is an interesting insight on business development within like the DAO ecosystem. How you actually jump into a call on their Discord, and then how you connect with people in the core people who are involved with the team, and then you bring them onto your own platform.
Yes.
So, are you familiar with business development in general? Do you see the parallels here?
Yes, I do see the parallels here. I think like again, there's going to be a lot of synergies. So Web3 is not just about developing, right? It's also about a lot of different things. So people from operations and research and design and business development are obviously going to be a part of this whole mix. So yeah.
Okay. You were saying about operations.
Yes. So as for the operations part of things, I think I wear a lot of different hats at this point. So if there's like need for reviewing content articles, so we also like publish Twitter threads so that people get to know more about the DAO ecosystem or what's happening in this space. We also like publishing articles on blogs, so reviewing, writing for that, or researching even for those blogs, helping the content team, setting up Twitter spaces, setting up events, like mini events within our Discord or on our Twitter. So those kinds of small tasks are there in operations.
So how many of you, how many core members inside DAO?
So there's about 5 to 6 core members, and they're like a couple of full-time people. That's kind of where it is at. And they are like, there's a contributor DAO attached, so they can be people brought in from that aspect as well.
How did you get involved, by the way? By the way, the core team, the Genesis team is out of the US, is it?
So, like with most projects of Web3, it's pretty much spread over like all 6 continents at this point. And we work across like many different time zones, so we have calls at like odd times as well. And as for like the first question, it was like about how did I get involved. So actually the founder of DAO HQ is also founded a non-profit last year when the pandemic was going on. So back then, there was a lack of hackathons, and we saw that there was, lack of public policy awareness as such, and we wanted to get high school students and college students into this process, like brainstorming. And we believed really that these people can come up with really innovative solutions because they are so in touch by means of the internet, by means of like connections with what is going on in the ecosystem, and they can use their like amazing ideas and present them in a public policy format, which also like goes into the ecosystem of like understanding civic education better, right?
This was an initiative by the now founder of DAO.
Yes, so we became good friends there. We hosted like multiple virtual policy-thon events with 500 plus participants. Again, all of this was virtual, so it was very almost Web3-like in some sense, because you got to meet people from different continents on the same call. So we became good friends, and at some point, when he got the idea for DAO HQ, he was like, "We worked with you before, and I know I can like trust on you, and you are good at like research and operations. So I think you should like check this rollout, and you should be a part of DAO HQ."
Damn cool, damn cool. What do you think about the space in general? Like, and also, do you have are your friends at IIT as well involved in DAOs and all that? What's the scene like? Because DAOs being permissionless and with so much opportunity like across the spectrum of interests, I think it must be attractive to people who with any like time to spare to get involved, right? What is it looking like? What does it look like to you?
So like I'll answer the ID question first because that's pretty interesting. So there is like a blockchain society which is coming up on our campus as well. So the idea again is like very open source projects that people can get into this space on a technical level. There's definitely a lot of things happening, a lot of excitement with decentralized nature, about having proper transparent accountability, and having like a democratic voting process. So those things are definitely something which excites not only me, but I feel people in my generation as Gen Z in general. As for like what I think about the space, do you mean like the DAO ecosystem or the Web3 space?
The space as in the interest in people in your like demographic of getting involved in DAOs. What are you seeing in that regard? Like your friends, are they also involved in DAOs?
Yes, a bunch of them are involved in DAOs. So I think one DAO I can like name is called Dream DAO. So it funds like teenagers to explore different aspects of Web3. So like a basic problem which comes up when you're exploring a space is that you kind of need funds to get into spaces as well. That's the kind of gap we're trying to bridge, and it's like almost an investment of sorts. From the older generation to our generation, because our generation is going to go on and build, Web3 as a whole and maybe the next layer of the internet. So,
awesome. What does like compensation look like, by the way? Maybe for you, like inside it out, inside. You don't have to be specific about that, but generally speaking, like because, yeah.
So I think this is another good aspect of the Web3 space, right? So people in like developing countries can get pretty decent pay by developing country standards, because again most things are wired through cryptocurrencies, which kind of bypasses laws, or like bypasses at least borders in some sense. And compensation is like usually, so for people in the contributor DAO, or even sometimes for the co-contribution team, it might be like bounty based. So you have a certain task in assigned, and depending on like how intensive that task is, you might be given like some sort of compensation, or it might be like you might have some sort of an hourly or a weekly contract. So different people might have like different contracts, and of course there's like most DAOs or most Web3 ecosystems like to pay out in their own native tokens or their native currencies. So that's another aspect of Web3. Yeah.
Awesome. This is great talking to you. Tell me, like, what are you doing here at this hackathon? Yeah.
So, like, I think it's multi-pronged. The answer to that question: trying to network, trying to get to know more people, try to know.
Are you a developer, by the way?
So I did a little bit of development in Solidity, but I'm not really doing development at DAO HQ. So we are also building a project which is so it's on the Solana chain. So we are using Solana DAOs, grabbing them, their information, verifying that, and then having a purchase token feature with a grading point system which we are setting up, so that investors and other people can come in and see what is the review or the rating of a DAO on a standardized scale and how reliable a certain DAO is for investing. That's kind of what we are doing. Apart from that, like, we're trying to get more exposure for DAO HQ to other projects, looking to collaborate, see how we can help DAOs, asking them about their pain points, so we can fill that DAO tools gap as well. So, yeah.
Maybe you want to come a little bit towards the end of the interview so people can see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So finally, like, what about you've met many people at this hacker house, right? Are there other DAOs over here, and what has been that conversation like?
So actually,
what's the scene basically out here when it comes to DAOs?
There are like a bunch of.
I know that there are like a lot of DeFi projects, NFT projects, and all that. DAOs not so much is what I got to say.
I think there are like a bunch of DAOs here. So again, we just got to talk and know more about DAO HQ. If they were not listed, for example, we just got a flag point, so getting them listed. We try to discuss about the ecosystem as a whole, trying to understand their perspective on things, trying to understand any friction points they might have to get onboarded on DAO and their tokenomics, their sort of struggles of setting up a DAO. So that's where we are coming from, and that's where we hope to collaborate and add value to this entire ecosystem.
So you also help them start a DAO through resources, is it?
So we provide some DAO tools on our website as well. That's kind of where we are.
Have your own DAO tools?
Not our DAO tools in particular. So we link to various DAO tools, so almost like a resource repository. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else? Any closing thoughts you wanna?
So I think if you guys have not yet checked out in the Web3 space, I think it's really democratic. I think it might be a little overwhelming in the start. So I think I encourage everyone to just get on our Discord, ask questions. There are always people out there who are ready to help, and it's a very happening space. Don't be frightened to jump in and feel a little lost in the start. Not everyone understands every aspect of the projects they work on, given that there are so many moving parts. So yeah, I encourage everyone to check Web3 out, get involved in the community.
Thank you so much. That was a great answer on getting involved, actually. And I think you're a good example of someone who is not a developer, but he's obviously having a core function within an interesting project out of a distributed project, and people are working from 6 different continents, as you said, right? So this has been a good conversation, and check out other videos on my channel, Salman Needs a Job. If this was interesting to you and you're into DAOs, you're going to find the other content on my channel also to be interesting. All right, that is it. And you have a good day.
It's really nice. Thank you so much.
I'm good to talk. It is good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.